Hey guys, Joe here, and yes, I've been doing a lot of Sig Sauer stuff. Sig Sauer is keeping up with manufacturing and distribution probably better than a lot of companies that I can name right now. And because of that, we're taking a look at another Sig. On top of that, I've been very impressed with some of their firearms. Now, I'm not a Sig fanboy, however, I did see this gun and decided it needed to be covered. And what it is a platform I love and a finish that makes me drool like a baby seeing lunch. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. If you like it, please maybe consider getting subscribed down below. Maybe use my Amazon affiliate links. You can help the channel grow by just doing little things like buying stuff you would buy on your normal daily basis, as well as, being subscribed and making your friends subscribe when they're not looking by hitting the little button. Just kidding, you don't have to do that. But every bit you do will help me get to the point where I can actually purchase stuff like this. This is the Sig Sauer Fastback Nightmare. Long name, beautiful pistol. Let's go ahead and take it out of the box. We're going to do a safety check, drop the mag. Look at that, can you believe it? It's got two. And we're going to do a safety check. Bring the slide back, lock it into the open position, visually and physically check. Nothing in there, so we are good. Let's go ahead and put the slide down and set the firearm aside. I want to take a look at the box real quick. This one could be, Sig does make a few that are airline approved, and you can see this raised lip here. The requirements for an airline approved case is that if it's locked, like you can do with the two locks here, a TSA or a agent, whoever checks firearms, must not be able to get their finger inside the case and be able to reach the firearm. If they can reach the trigger, then the case, pardon me, is not airline approved. With this large surround here, coupled with the fact that this fits nice and tight around it and is quite deep there, there is no way that you can get this open enough short of cutting the case. So for standard travel, this should be an airline approved case. Inside, you get the gun, OBS. Came with one mag in it. This is a used firearm, so do not quote me whether or not this is an actual second mag for the gun. It is a... Nope, it is not. This is a Kimpro tag mag. What the hell? Who made this thing? Taking a quick look at it, this is not a Wilson Combat mag. This looks to be a Kimber mag, or a Pro mag, or a tag mag, or a mag tag. It's got a lot of different names on it, but none of them say Wilson Combat. It is a extended base plate one, so it looks to be a 9-rounder. Standard one is 8 rounders. It looks like it'll hold one more down in the base. You get your manuals, all your information, and there should be a gun lock in it, which is underneath the foam. This gun is currently for sale from Liberty Arms, who generously let me borrow the firearm. So thank you to Liberty Arms, really appreciate it. Check them out. Google them. I can't link them, otherwise this gets instantly demonetized. It's Liberty Arms in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Tell them Joe sent you from the Jiminy Show, and they will charge you an extra 35%. I'm kidding. Go ahead and take the gun out of the box. We're going to leave the magazine in there because we don't need no stinking magazines for a review. And let's take a look at this guy. It's a 1911, so companies have to be a little bit more creative with how they modify them to make them different. In this case, Sig Sauer has done a couple of things that I've seen in the industry, such as a V-bob, the fastback portion here, which is something Dan Wesson does on a lot of its firearms and looks really good. But they've also done something that's a little bit different in that they've left a lot of material up here forming kind of a shelf. Might be hard to see, but that is more in line with Sig's design philosophy. They do it on their 1911s to help separate them a little bit. Additionally, you're going to see one striking difference in the fact that this has an external extractor. The vast majority of 1911s have an internal one back here where that circle is. Normally that's where the extractor would go. I'm not 100% sure what's in there, but I'm not going to fully disassemble this because it's not mine. I wish it was mine. The outside has a very nice flat black finish with a lot of chrome. This can be overdone. This can actually take away from the look of a firearm. On this gun, they are very well finished. They seem to have a very nice finish on them. I'm not sure exactly what they did to do it. They look like they're nickel plated. If they are, that is a really nice finish. And it contrasts this gun very beautifully. Being that this is an extremely expensive pistol, and I don't say that lightly, it's not made anymore. It was a very expensive pistol when it was being made. It should have and does have checkering on the front strap and this back strap, obviously, which is changeable. However, it's going to be a little bit different because of the bob has checkering as well. It has a generous beaver tail with a memory notch, so very easy to find. Very nice external safety, clicky, so that you know exactly what you've done. Has a very nice adjustable trigger in it. This is a single action only pistol, obviously. It's a 1911, and the trigger pull is pretty damn sublime. I'm actually going to leave it off there because of the chrome trigger. I was going to put a piece of white paper behind it, but we don't need to do that. Trigger pull, under 4 pounds. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have a Lyman trigger gauge, but based on other guns I've fired, under 4 pounds is a safe assumption. Reset is just as sublime. There it is. Just straight out. You can feel it, you can hear it, and right into the next shot. Very little take up. The wall is very distinct, and you just go. There's no false wall or false start. It does look like a slightly extended mag release, but the rest of the controls are your standard dimensions. It does have a very nice chromed bushing to go with the stainless barrel, and it is not a full-length guide rod. Area of contention with some 1911 owners. I've personally never run into issues with a full-length guide rod, but I've heard there can be spring binding issues because the spring compresses all the way down and the rod goes through it, so sometimes the rod can catch on part of it. You'll have to tell me down in the comments. I've never had a problem with one that had a full-length guide rod. Has Sig night sights on it, and they're very easy to pick up. Picture is very crisp. Hit that with your light and they will glow, no problem. Let's go ahead and take it apart. It's a 1911, so first thing we want to do is lock it back, check it one more time. Nothing in there, nothing in there. We can go ahead and release the slide. I like to leave the hammer back and engage the safety. What that allows you to do is push down on the front of the slide without it moving backwards, which aids in getting the spring out. I can do it with just my fingers. Not all guns are going to be this way. If you have a gun that is extremely tight, you'll want a bushing tool. Keep your finger on this plunger and spring assembly. I have holes in my ceiling, which I've shown on video, from not actually having a good grip on that. You can just go ahead and pop that out. While you're here, go ahead and rotate the bushing back counterclockwise until you can pull it out. You're now ready to take the gun apart. So what you're going to do is drop the safety, pull the slide back. It'll be much easier because no plunger, no guide rod. Come back to your disassembly notch and pull your slide release out. Being careful not to give it an idiot mark. Once you do that, I like to flip them over, and then you can pull the frame and the slide apart. When you do that, you will see that the guide rod will come out from the now top but bottom, and then you have your barrel and your slide. You can go ahead and push the link forward and pull the barrel out of the front. This uses John Moses Browning's tilting lockup with the lugs versus the breech lock and a swinging link. Some guns have a just hook that goes down and catches on the slide lock slide release. This one is the traditional swinging link. Inside the slide you will see the corresponding lugs that lock up on the barrel when it is in position. Overall finish inside is impeccable. This is a used gun, however it doesn't look like it's had a lot of rounds go through it because the finish isn't damaged in any noticeable way. Only has rear slide serrations, but they are canted forward. They grip just fine. Some people like to be able to manipulate from the front. I used to think I was one of those people. I'm not. Taking a look at the frame, it is very nicely finished as well. Negative on finishing marks inside the lower part there. The ramp is nice and it is polished from the factory, so you don't need to go in there with emery cloth. Let's take a look at the barrel real quick. This is not a fully ramped barrel, although What Sig has done compensates for that. We've talked about this in other videos where some 1911s have a blunt section between the barrel and the ramp. In this gun you can see that it is ramped all the way up to the barrel, so they modified the frame in order to get the ramp up to the barrel. That's perfectly fine. That should aid in hollow point feeding. What you always have to worry about with the hollow point is that it's just going to grab the edge between the barrel and the frame and jam. So that eliminates it without having to make a completely different barrel design for one model of gun. Otherwise, that is your fully field stripped 1911. Let's go ahead and put it back together. Flipping the barrel over, I'm going to insert it the same way it came out through the front of the slide. Just pull it back until you feel it lock up with the lugs on the top. Once it does that, then it will fit flush. The barrel will also be as flush as possible. This one sticks out a little bit because this bushing sticks out a little bit. Go ahead and put the bushing in now. It's a lot easier than doing it once you have the spring in place. Next thing I'll do is put the guide rod back in. You can go ahead and set that on top of the barrel. And then you can take your spring, and this one's closed on both ends, which is good because I honestly forgot which way it was pointing when I pulled it out, and slide it down. Some springs are open on one end. If you have a spring like that, you want to make sure to watch which way you put it in. It's more important on full-length guide rods with open plungers. Once you do that, make sure that your link is in the up position. It can lean back a little bit. And then take your frame and your slide. While the frame and slide are upside down, it's just easier this way. Go ahead and start them back together. If the gun is well assembled, it should go together pretty damn easily. If it's not, then it won't. Once you have your slide and your frame reassembled, you can go ahead and line up your slide lock. Go ahead and do it above the side of the slide so that you can avoid an idiot mark. It's going to come down by this bushing here that's integrated into the gun. Pushing that in while pulling back will get it into position so that you can pull the slide back and lock it back into spot. Re-engage your safety. You'll see there's no idiot mark. I didn't go flying on the frame, so we're good to go there. So now we can go ahead and reassemble the front. I took the spring out while trying to line it up. I apologize, sometimes I have to do that. Again, it's going to be very tight. Protect that plunger with your life. And then hit it until it engages. Drop your safety, rack your slide, go ahead and pull your trigger. You're back in function. So that is a Sig Sauer Fastback Nightmare. It's a beautiful gun. Wish I had the money to buy one. You can buy this exact pistol. It's in the case at the store as we speak. Call down there, Liberty Arms in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Just Google it. It'll come right up and you can own an incredible piece of machinery at a steep discount, even though it's barely been fired. So that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Go ahead and use my affiliate links. You'll help the channel grow and I can appreciate it. Maybe I can start buying some higher end stuff. That would be tremendous. I'm going to get out of here. It's very late. I've filmed 3 guns, have 3 more to go, and damn it, I'm tired. So, as always, I'll talk to you later.